Good evening, and welcome to World in 5, your trusted source for comprehensive coverage of today's most pressing events, delivered with accuracy, integrity, and insight.
The leader of the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, threatened on Wednesday to target the European island of Cyprus if a war breaks out between Israel and Lebanon. We have Shelby reporting on this.
Cyprus will be part of this war too if it allows Israeli forces to use its airports and bases, Nasrallah said in a televised address. His statement came a day after Israel warned Hezbollah that the prospect of all-out war was getting very close. This marks the first time Nasrallah has threatened Cyprus, an EU member situated in the Mediterranean Sea about 125 miles, 200 kilometers from Lebanon. Cyprus has conducted joint military exercises with Israel since 2014, most recently last year. Nasrallah's threat was part of a fiery response to Israel's warning, in which he boasted about Hezbollah's growing capabilities and threatened to shake the pillars of Israel if war were to be imposed on Lebanon. Tensions between Hezbollah and Israel have been escalating since the October 7 Hamas attacks and the subsequent military campaign by the Israel Defense Forces in Gaza. In recent weeks, cross-border attacks between Hezbollah and Israel have intensified, raising concerns about the possibility of a full-blown war. Back to you, John.
Thanks for that update.
A fire at a military ammunition depot in Chad's capital, N'Djamena, triggered a series of blasts on Tuesday night, according to Foreign Affairs Minister Koulamala Abdurrahman. Witnesses reported that at least one person was killed and several others were wounded. We have Anthony reporting on this.
A resident from a neighborhood near the depot recounted seeing 3 injured people on the street, with 2 of them being rushed to the hospital on motorbikes. Media outlets shared images of spent artillery shells that had fallen into people's homes. Another resident mentioned that his neighbor, a shopkeeper, was killed by a shell. "Loud blasts woke us up," said resident Mustafa Adu Muhammad to Reuters over the phone. "Our house was shaking as if someone were shooting at us. Then we saw a big fire at the military camp and smoke and things exploding in the air. We could see artillery fly over us." A Reuters witness reported seeing flames and hearing explosions for about an hour, with smoke spreading throughout the city. The fire broke out just a few kilometers from Chad's main international airport, which authorities confirmed was not affected. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
The United States has approved a $360 million sale of over 1,000 small armed drones to Taiwan, as the self-ruled island seeks to enhance its asymmetrical warfare capabilities by learning from successful tactics used in Ukraine. We have Jensen reporting on this.
According to a release from the U.S. Defense Security Cooperation Agency, DSCA, on Tuesday, Taiwan will receive 720 Switchblade missiles and accompanying fire control systems worth $60.2 million. Additionally, the U.S. will provide Taiwan with up to 291 Ultra 600M loitering munitions and supporting components valued at $300 million. This proposed sale comes amid increasing military pressure from China on Taiwan, with extensive military exercises around the island and almost daily warplane flights near it. The Chinese Communist Party claims Taiwan as its own, despite never having controlled it, and has vowed to reunify with the island by force if necessary. Under the Taiwan Relations Act, Washington is legally obligated to provide Taiwan with the means to defend itself, supplying Taipei with defensive weaponry. However, these arms sales have provoked angry responses from Beijing. At the Shangri-La Dialogue Defense Summit in Singapore earlier this month, Chinese Defense Minister Admiral Dong Jun criticized external interfering forces for selling arms and maintaining illegal official contacts with Taiwan, clearly referencing the U.S. The Switchblade, resembling a small fixed-wing drone, is a lightweight, precision-guided missile that can be launched from various platforms within 2 minutes. It can stay aloft for 20 minutes and has a range of 30 kilometers, 18.6 miles. Manufacturer AeroVironment claims it has performed well in Ukraine's defense against Russia's ongoing invasion. "We have been gratified by overwhelming user feedback and demand for additional systems," said AeroVironment CEO Wahid Nawabi in an April post on the company's website. Back to you, John.
Thanks for that update.
Ratings agency Fitch no longer expects China to cut its policy rate this year, postponing its forecast for a reduction to next year due to the U.S. Federal Reserve's decision to keep its interest rates high. We have Alana reporting on this.
Fitch now anticipates that China will maintain its one-year medium-term lending facility (MLF) rate at 2.5% this year, with a reduction to 2.25% expected next year. In March, the agency had predicted only one rate cut for 2024. There are a couple of factors behind this. First, on the external side, concerns around the exchange rate against the US dollar, because of changing expectations for the Fed, restrain the People's Bank of China, said Jeremy Zook, Fitch Ratings head of sovereign rating in Asia-Pacific, during a presentation on Wednesday. Next year, as the Fed begins to cut policy rates, we think that should give a bit more space for the PBOC to maneuver, Zook added. He also expects Beijing to rely more on fiscal policy this year. Last week, the Fed held steady on its key interest rate and indicated just one cut by the end of the year. This contrasts with investor expectations that the Fed would soon ease monetary policy in 2024 after a period of aggressive rate hikes. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
Thanks for tuning in to World in 5 for your daily dose of news and updates. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on breaking stories and insightful analysis.